Hey everybody, so I'm back for another review of a review of Growing Up Hip Hop, season 7, episode 1, Parents Just Don't Understand. And this is a show I've always watched. But this is the first time I'm reviewing it. First, I want to thank everybody. I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. For those of you who have subscribed to my channel, I do not take that lightly, and I am really grateful for that. And I encourage anybody else who likes the content to please subscribe as I try to grow my channel. All right, so we get started with Egypt and Sam. I was just like, oh, must we continue down this path that will inevitably lead to destruction? Apparently, the answer is yes. All right, so Egypt and Sam at the hospital. Egypt is pregnant. I didn't know she was pregnant because I don't really follow these people outside of the show. So Egypt is pregnant, which is wonderful, and she's excited and nervous, and I think those are healthy emotions to have. Egypt and Sam got married last season, last minute. Um, I personally think this is a very unhealthy relationship. I never thought it was good. Um, I've always thought Sam's behavior gave very abusive. I'm not saying he is because I have no proof. His behavior is very controlling. I think it has every ability to end up in physical, verbal, emotional, or any other kind of abuse. I don't trust it. I don't think Tretch and Pepper caught that the way they should have and nipped it in the bud, whether Egypt liked it or not. Okay? Now, I think once again, Tretch and Pepper and Brianna, even though we can talk about how crazy she is, she's the one that caught that shit. When she was like, I'm telling you, something's not right about him and I want him to fuck away from Egypt. And Egypt whooped her ass that night. Now, and we know because Brianna, that first season of Growing Up Hip Hop, I told you I've been watching it, for years now. And she was in that abusive relationship, and that's when Boogie went over there to help her and get her stuff, make sure she was safe. And that's why they have such a close relationship, whether they fight like brother and sister or not. And I always respected Boogie for that. I mean, even Dame Dash was just like, you can't go back there, hun. Like, they were willing to give her cover. So anyway, but she was the one who also peeped it because she had been through it. So Pepper is encouraging her to stay stress free. She had a miscarriage, and I feel for any woman who has a miscarriage. And I'm so sorry she went through that. But I'm glad she'll get a second chance to be a mother. As far as I'm concerned, Egypt is still a baby to me. She's still very young to me. But I am glad she had a black woman OBGYN because I think we need more of those. And quite frankly, the kind of health care black women don't get when it comes to reproduction in particular is scary. All right, so then we get this thing a lazy bone. Is it me, or at some age do you feel like somebody should stop calling themselves lazy bone? Like it just, I'm all here for the hits of Bone Thugs and Harmony, but I just feel like there's anyway. So the mother of his 4-year-old, he said, is in a toxic relationship, which read to me as abusive, to the point where he went to go get his daughter, his 4-year-old daughter. Yes, yes. Always get your child out of that situation. And God bless her, and hopefully she'll get the protection and the strength to go. I'm not gonna sit here and judge another woman for that, but I do think he did the right thing. You go in and you get your child. So Tretch offered his help, said if you need any support, I got you. Sure as I thought, when I got done, squinting at Sam's sorry ass, Tretch comes on FaceTime and is talking to Lazy Bone because he feels like he can't talk to Egypt. And he was like, well, I can't talk to Egypt without Sam's ass in the phone, or I'm talking to her on speaker. I can't talk to my daughter like I talk to my daughter. That is very controlling behavior. He is trying to make sure Egypt does not tell her father how he's treating her, which I can guarantee you is not well. Okay, I already knew something was wrong with him when he was X amount of years older than her with 2 kids he didn't take care of, and his own father got on the show talking about Sam doesn't know how I was the one that got him fired when he was working for Dr. Pepper. And I was like, damn, your father admitting that on TV? Your family's dysfunctional as fuck. Anyway, um, I just wish him and Pepper would have caught that. And I feel like Pepper kind of caught it at the beginning, and then for some reason, they just kept supporting them, letting them live with them, giving them money, and just encouraging this relationship. Like that was stupid. And like I said, Brianna tried to tell her, and then Egypt did pop in it. Woo. It's some sweet ones you gotta watch sometimes. Don't push them too far. Her delivery, Brianna's delivery about that relationship wasn't the best, but I do think she was well intentioned in trying to protect Egypt from what she had been through. What Brianna knew intimately, and what so many women know intimately, and oftentimes are sometimes ashamed and to even talk about it because it's traumatic. So I just don't want that for her. That's really what I'm getting at. Angela Simmons. Angela, I I never really know how I feel about you. I always feel like you're holding something back, but you're not. And when I say holding something back, I'm not saying you tell us all your business, but I always feel like there's something else in what you're hiding because you're like trying to compete with your sister. But that's just me. You could tell Angela has moved to Atlanta. That is a black Atlanta upwardly mobile home. An old girl, I forget her name, but it'll come to me at some point, or maybe it won't. Whatever. Is complaining about not having food whenever she comes to her house. Um, yes, Angela, you when you have guests, you should offer them food. To me, that is the hospitable way. But also the other way my Atlanta girl is set up, my Atlanta native is set up, you don't go to nobody's house and ask for food either. Okay. All right. But anyway, Angela has a passion for music. And I was like, listening? Well, duh, your father was a rapper. No. Okay, girl. Now she wants to like have a song. She just wants one hit song. I guess she just want one of them big one hit wonders to keep making money off of, which ain't bad, but child, you should have gone another route. Okay? Go viral or something. Anyway, uh, Angela, if you had real singing talent, considering your family, I am certain they would have cultivated that skill from the time you were at least 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, okay? Angela, you don't have a singing voice. It's just that simple. She has that techno drunk at the skating ring voice that's playing over, but you kind of drunk and you out there, or kids are screaming so you don't really hear the vocals. She got that kind of voice. So I don't know what she mean. I don't even know what that means, drunk at the skating ring and you hear the voice, but it sounds right. It feels right. Those words felt right to me. Anyway, so she goes to Jan the vocal coach, blast from the past. The last time I saw Miss Jan on TV was the first season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, when she told Kim Zolciak that she didn't know what she was doing with her boys. And I was sitting there like, hopefully Angela will be discouraged when she leaves, because Angela don't know what she's doing with her boys either. So anyway, she tries to hit some bars, and Miss Jan tells her, from a pitch and a tonal perspective, you don't know what you were doing. And as somebody who grew up in the music industry, I hope you realize the kind of commitment this will be. Um, she says, this is as nice as I'm ever going to be to you. I was like, oh, god damn. But that's real. You don't want people wasting your time, especially with those reality TV cameras, especially if this is just for a storyline. All right. So then we get this scene. All right. So Tanise and JoJo. I'm gonna be honest. Something about Tanise I have never liked. And it's not because she's done anything. Like, she's quiet, she minds her business, but there's something about her to me that's sneaky and inauthentic. And I feel like she's the kind of person who's quiet, but like that quiet that sits there and is like judging other people. And I don't know what makes me feel like that. It's not like I've seen her do something that makes me feel that way. It's something about her, just my intuition. I don't trust her. So nevertheless, she's on the phone talking about how stressed out she is about her son's first birthday party. Tanise, these are rich people problems, honey. Being stressed out about a first birthday for your son, while I know you love him, some balloons, a sheet cake, and some wings is all you need. A baby don't need that kind of party. It just don't. And the fact that you stressed about it, like making sure everything's there, like quit playing with me. Um. So anyway, they had the party, and JoJo says, "Look, is your dad coming?" And she says, "Well, I don't know, but he was invited, whatever." Apparently, her dad is somebody big in the music industry behind the scenes. I have always wondered how Tanise and JoJo met. And I was just because she always kept saying, well, I was in a good situation before I met JoJo. I had a job, a really good job, and then I quit my job to stay at home with him. And I was like, how the fuck you give up your job and your resources before this man even marry you? Because you had a baby. I don't care. That to me is not something I would do. But anyway, apparently he's somebody big in the music industry, so more than likely she may have had one of those jobs that came into contact with him. All right. So JoJo had told her, he said, look, I'm not gonna deal with your dad, I'm not gonna say nothing, I'm not gonna get in no arguments or nothing like that. But really because he was worried about protecting Denise. Like the Simmons kids, I don't care what anybody says, they have always been come off as really nice people and respectful. So if he's doing it, I really think the intention was not to have a blow up and to protect Denise, and I can respect that. Um, but I do think JoJo was worried about protecting her because even though he wasn't speaking to her father, he damn sure you could tell was following Denise around like maybe like 8 feet behind her to make sure he didn't get out of order, and I can respect that. So her father is just acting like a 6-year-old child, and that is typical behavior among a lot of black men. She was like, "You're gonna act like you don't know," and essentially what she was saying, "You're gonna act like you don't know. You didn't call JoJo and say, I mean, you didn't say JoJo wasn't your grandchild." And I was like, this person knows he said that. Okay, that's why he's getting all hostile and stuff. And those kind of black men do not like to be held accountable when they do disrespectful shit to you and then get angry when black women, even if it's their fucking daughter, call them out on that shit. And miss me with the no, this black man take care of it. Yeah, you supposed to. But this kind of fuck shit, I see that too much and it's disrespectful. And then he starts complaining to her. He said, I don't want to have a conversation. I was in grandfather mode. I was in grandfather mode. No, what you were trying to do was avoid a serious conversation with your daughter. Okay, because that's your first priority. Your daughter. Being a father, then a grandfather, motherfucker. You earn that. All right, so he complains how, oh, you have your so-called husband. Let's talk about how he didn't speak to me. No, JoJo didn't speak to you. She goes, well, did you speak to him? He was like, that's not the point. I'm always your father. And I can't stand when that is weaponized against daughters and sons. I'm always your father, but have you always been acting like a father? Have you always been there for me? Have you always had my back? Exactly. So this older generation, I don't know what it is. And when I mean older, I'm not talking about on canes and walkers and stuff like that. I'm talking about as a millennial, our parents. That generation seems to want to demand respect from us in ways, and I'm not just talking about parents, just I mean like the generation itself. For millennials, when you make a regular effort to disrespect your daughter the way you did, you cannot demand respect from her. That's not how it works. It's not just because you're the father. It's because of what you are as a father. Okay, your daughter should have never been chasing after you to have a conversation with you and to speak to you. That was hurtful to watch Denise have to walk around behind her father just trying to talk to him. That was some fucked up shit. And you know what the hard part about this is? It's Denise is only a representation of what so many young black women go through. Just trying to do the right thing, trying to fix what was wrong in the family, problems that they never created. So it's a good thing she got a husband like JoJo. All right. And he's a bitch ass motherfucker for that. You heard that from me, Denise. Anyway, so Egypt and Sam, they have a house, and I was like, oh, bought by Pepper and Tretch, I'm sure. So why is she doing housework with the curtains and stuff like that? I'm not here for that. Pregnant and all. Call me old school. You can say, oh, well, women can do it. Yes, they can, but when they have a man in the house, no, hate me, fight me, whatever. I mean, don't fight me, but hate me. All right, call TaskRabbit, but not your wife, okay? Then she brought that hood ass picture, Pepper. When she comes in the house, that head ass picture that you would see like on Crenshaw, because I went to graduate school at UCLA, and I used to go over Crenshaw to SO1 Books. Shout out to SO1 Books, who has gone online, but they were black-owned bookstore, boom. But over in that area, that Baldwin Hills, close to Crenshaw area, there will be a lot of different shops set up, and it's kind of like that cheap gold-plated frame. And Pepper, if you making money like that and you a legend like you say you are, Baby, don't do that no more. And why are you acting like, and I'm going to tell you what tripped me out about this scene. Peppa, stop acting like you have never been over to the house. You bought them. Okay? Peppa tells Egypt that she is going on tour. It's the remix tour or something like that. And Sam was like, both of us? And Peppa was like, no. And Egypt's crazy ass asked, why isn't Sam invited to perform? And she's like, look, this is business. This is what they want you to do. And quite frankly, I do think it's important that Egypt has her own career because I don't think Sam is shit. And I think she's got to move on with her life. And I don't think he's happy for her. And he demonstrates controlling and abusive tendencies. Not saying that he is, but he checks off a lot of boxes. So she said, well, I'm doing it in the early phase of my pregnancy. So it'll be fine. And I think what she meant by that is I won't be showing. Because your early phase of your pregnancy, a lot of women are sick. But usually if it's a girl. So I think, but I'm not an OBGYN, so don't take that too seriously. We get this quick scene with Eazy-E's son, Lil E, and Casey's son, Devin, and Sam. Casey's kids, I don't understand why they're on here. I certainly don't care for that daughter of his and the way she went off on Denise that night. Everywhere she goes, she's just always creating conflict. And them half-ass apologies she gives to people is why they get pissed off. Anyway, they go to a dispensary that looks like it was built in an old church building. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, I don't care what people say. Oh, well, you about to be. I don't. Inappropriate. Blasphemy. I will not be partaking. So they are looking to get their brands in the store. Sam comes in there, tells them about the baby. And, Eazy-E's son is like, well, what about the case? And he was like, well, I got 4 felonies for assault. Motherfucker, 4 felonies? Over some shit that didn't have to escalate? And Tretch is absolutely right when he said that this last season and this episode, like, this could have, you lucky you came out alive. Police kill people for that. And my daughter could have been endangered. So he points out the obvious, and that's that, well, it's difficult to deal with a baby on the way when you have a case. Yeah, E, we got it. Okay, and you got your camera time. Moving on. So Sam goes to meet Tretch at a jewelry store. I already knew this was going to be some setup bullshit. Because Tretch ain't no punk now. His wedding anniversary is coming up, so he's looking for jewelry for his wife. I could tell by the jewelry store it was there. I was like, that seemed like one of them cheap ones. Not that I'm some expert in jewelry, but I can just kind of tell by the outside. I just think he brought Sam there because that's how little he thinks. So he wants to know, and he got real. He wants to know how Sam plans to support Egypt and his grandbaby. Real talk. I just wish this would have been the kind of talk y'all had before y'all let these 2 motherfuckers get married. And them years before when y'all were encouraging this relationship and defending it to everybody. So Tretch says he never steps in their business because it's not his. He was like, but that's only as long as my daughter is safe. If she says she's safe and that she's happy, then I stay out of it. And I can understand that. Like, not over involving yourself in your adult child's relationship. I understand what he means by that. And he was like, Sam, how many kids do you have? Asking questions he knows the answer to. Trust me, them are not the kind of parents you want to fuck with. He was like, 2. He said, and you about to have how many? 3. And so Tretch wants to know how he plans to take care of a family. I was like, yeah, those are the questions you ask before somebody gets married. Kids, a lot of times, are an inevitable when that happens. And some people can have kids, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So, Tretch says he's not gonna have a grown man in his house. I said, yes, God. I know my father said things like that. Tretch says, my daughter can always come home. The kids can always come over. I ain't gonna have no grown man in the house with my wife. Yes, now that's grown man business, putting it down, okay? But you should have been with Brianna when she tried to warn about his sorry ass. Now, and he was like, I've seen y'all when y'all was living with Pep and when y'all was struggling. And he was like, yeah, we were. And he was like, I just don't think Pep is going to do that again. And when I say, he said, I don't think Pep is going to do that again, you ain't telling me shit. Pep and Trish had a conversation where Pep has told him, I'm not supporting their asses anymore. Okay? But she did, because I believe she bought that house in fucking Nevada. And the fact they had to say it on camera, I didn't put a dime into it. Yes, you did, girl. Anyway, so Tretch says Egypt needs to talk to another woman. He was like, not Pep necessarily, that's her mother. He said, but somebody who's, a younger woman who's had the experience of having a child this day and age and the experiences, so on and so forth. And so he suggests TT. And let me tell you something, what I appreciate about Tretch, that I've seen more with Tretch than I've seen with Peppa, even though TT is related to Peppa. And Tretch knows TT from the time they were together, but knew her as a little girl. And every time Egypt tried to talk poorly about TT, Tretch would listen, but he would mitigate that conversation and stop and say, look, that's not just your cousin. That's your sister. You were raised together. And I don't like the fact that so much has come in between y'all. Y'all are family. And I respect that so much. And I still feel like he wants that relationship between TT and Egypt because Egypt needs another young woman in her life. She has a brother. And the fact that Tretch can see through that, like he's not trying to throw his wife, which is Egypt's stepmother, or Pep into it. He was like, she's going to need a different kind of support. And just being able to recognize that, I think is important. So I really like that. So Tretch, he starts talking about, he says, well, what are you doing? Well, I've been in the studio, and Tretch is like, okay. He said something along the lines of dreams don't pay bills. And he was like, look, I know money don't come easy with music. It's not usually quick. But Tretch is being clear. I'm not taking care of another grown man. He said that about 3 times. And that's just the edited version we got. So then Tretch leaves that Negro in the jewelry store, broke as hell, and he walked out. And I said, I'm motherfucking here for it. Congratulations, Tretch. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.